For Code Concepts with Rachel Patterson and Pete Roque. We have a beautiful, awesome guest, Ms. Cecilia Muela, to talk to us today about the upcoming Women Leaders in Code Enforcement Symposium. So good morning, Miss Cece. Love your costume.
Good morning. Good morning. You know, I am a huge believer that you have to have a little fun with what you do. You can't just be all serious all the time. You have to be able to show up and shed a little sunshine and smiles. I told my staff just the other day, actually, hey, we're gonna grab a picture of the team. Make sure that you dress in your Sunday's best and show up with your best smile. And if you don't have one, borrow one, but wear one that day.
That's awesome, Cece. What would it be like to work with you?
Yes, well, thank you. I'll take my hat off now, and sorry about my messy hair. But
beautiful.
So Rachel and I'm so happy to be here with you and to connect and all that good stuff. How have you been?
Great. Thank you. It's been a whirlwind since we got back from ICC. A lot of things going in my own jurisdiction, and then, trying to figure out how I can wiggle my way into the ICC world too. So we're excited to have you on today to talk about Women Leaders in Code Enforcement, which is something I am super excited about, obviously. Get to go take part in that. So I've been working on my portion to that. So as always, thank you for those opportunities, Ms. Lucy.
Absolutely, anytime. And for those of you that don't know, so Women Leaders in Code actually has their second annual symposium coming up in March. It'll be March 23rd through 25th in Sonoma County, Santa Rosa, California, at the Flamingo Hotel. And it's going to be excellent. We have a great woman lined up. I think I've been talking about this and I can't stop talking about it because I'm so excited about it. Just to give a quick synopsis, obviously Miss Rachel Patterson is going to be one of our presenters, but we also have some really great topics, and I'll just kind of give you guys a quick little tidbit on that without giving away the farm, because I think it's going to be really exciting once we get those that information out. So we talk a lot about leadership. So we're going to do a lot of leadership focused courses. Some of those topics are going to be the game changer, build while you lead with Miss Crystal Patterson. We're going to talk about showing up to lead. So not just leading, but really showing up to lead, right? There's a significant difference when you say, I want to be a leader, I want to lead a team, and actually showing up to lead, actually being there fully, totally, in it to win it with your team and really understanding who they are. And in addition to that, we also have a little bit of technical intro courses. So we'll have an intro to ADA with Miss Lorena Souls, who's going to be joining us as well. We have an intro to building inspection, which is awesome, and an intro to code enforcement. And that way we have a little bit of the technical, a little bit of the leadership. So it's going to be really well-rounded. It's going to be excellent. We have some great activities planned as well. And I am so excited to have you guys in my neck of the woods, you ladies and guys, whoever wants to join us as well. So it'll be, Pete, we talked about this last week, Pete, right? You're our honorary girlfriend. That's right. You and Mr. Jose Roig. So it's going to be pretty outstanding. So we're really looking forward to it.
Awesome, Cece. So talk a little bit about when are we going to be able to register? When are we going to be able to get our hotels all planned and really get those flight plans going?
Yes. So the goal right now is November 1st for open registration. So you'll be able to register on site. Oh, no. Oh, no. What happened?
We can hear you. You're still here.
I don't know what happened. Give me 1 second. Can you see me?
We can see your beautiful face.
See you.
I can't see you guys. Hold on. I don't know what happened. I lost my, oh, there we go. I don't know what happened. You guys just went blank on my screen.
It's one of those mornings.
Yeah, it is. You know what? We pivot, right? That's what we do. Okay. So November 1st is the target date. And it'll be online registration. So it'll be easy for everyone just to kind of come in, go to our website, go ahead and join. They'll be able to see some of the classes that are going to be offered, as well as we'll have the information for the hotel so that reservations can start being made with the hotel.
Awesome.
Well.
We
Yeah.
already have our first question from Miss Amanda Benton. Are we able to attend via Zoom this year?
Yes, that's a great question, Amanda. So we are definitely looking at that hybrid option. And yes, my guess is that you will be able to attend even via Zoom. Actually, we're probably going to focus on using the same platform that we used last year because it was a little better and more interactive. So with our honorary girlfriend, Mr. Pete Roque, we'll be able to make that happen. It might look a little different, but we definitely will have somebody just watching the comments and bringing our fellow women on stage to participate and interact with us. So yeah, we totally understand that there's going to be obviously that the group of our code professionals that are unfortunately not going to be able to make it live, and we definitely want to still have that option for them for sure.
Awesome. We're excited for that. Thank you for doing everything to make all of those parameters happen, Cece.
Yeah, no problem. You know what? It's Rachel, as you know, it's been a long time coming, this symposium and getting together and putting something together for our women out in the field, and really, not only just focusing on the training itself, but really focusing on encouragement and being able to raise the profile of women. Actually, just a couple of days ago, and I got to share this story because it just really touched my heart. And there's a variety of different things that happen when you're leading, right? Sometimes you're challenged as a leader. Sometimes you're trying to make sure that you're really looking at your leadership full circle, and even the leader needs mentorship. And I recognize that as a leader myself, and I'm lucky that I have mentors that I can reach out to. Mr. Tim Schneider is one of them who I can just connect with, and we can chat and share some ideas, and I can run some things past him, and he can maybe help me, find my angle that I want to approach. And sometimes when you're being challenged, it's important for us to always really look at the big picture and really look at what really is happening before us. And then there are those employees that come in and just blow you out of the water. And I think that is why this Women Leaders in Code symposium is so important to me, because I'm reminded constantly of our need to be able to support the women that are coming up in this industry. And I know that there's a lot of awesome, fellow male counterparts in our profession that are just as amazing, that have their own challenges, that are trying to get pushed through those challenges. And Ms. Rachel, you met Danny, right? As a board shadow. Danny is awesome. I mean, his story is outstanding. And the fact that he really maneuvers through getting all his certificates and really in the work and really doing everything that he could in his power to get, to where he needed to be outside of everything he had to endure is really remarkable.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure meeting Mr. Dabler, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And so, my administrative assistant, and I talked about her a little bit on my LinkedIn page. She, I like to do a check-in. So I always recommend, as a leader, check in with your staff. Don't just check in to say, hey, how's work going? Hey, how are your assignments? Hey, are you doing okay? Hey, are you, getting enough training or what have you? Really, really check in with your staff. Really check in to see how they're really doing. And when you're asking them, hey, are you okay? Ask them again, no, really, are you okay? Because you'll be surprised at what they share with you. And, she shared a story with me, personal perseverance, personal struggles. And I was completely floored. And let me just say that, before she walked into my office for us to meet, I had a little bit, I was dealing with some of the challenges of leadership, right? Trying to figure out one thing and get that squared away. And then she comes in and just boom, it just puts things back into perspective. You could look at life this way, or you could look at life through the lens of this amazing admin staff that I have, this this gem that I have, and I was talking to her and getting to know her a little bit more outside of just work and just kind of really diving in and trying to pull that information out of her. So what's your 1 year goal? What's your 5 year goal? Where do you see yourself? And she starts telling me she's going to law school. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That's remarkable. But the story behind that is so impactful. So anyway, where I'm getting with this is sometimes we have, or most of the times we'll have really, really great talent within our workforce. And oftentimes we're so convinced, right? Because traditionally we've always said, oh, we got to find that person that has the 20 certs and the 20 years in the industry. And that's the person that we tend to miss the talent within our departments. We tend to pass over because we're not really getting to know our staff. And so really getting to know them, really building them up, really giving them a voice, right? Allowing them to share, this is what I need, this is what I want. And so that's what came about, or what helped come about the Women Leaders in Code, was being able to give them an opportunity, a platform to say, hey, I can be a leader, or hey, I want to be plants examiner or building inspector or director or whatever they may be, or they may want to be. So we are super ecstatic to be live this year, 2022, and also have that hybrid option for sure.
Right. Oh, I just love it. Miss CC, you bring up so many times in our conversation already, showing up to lead. I don't think there is a better example of anyone who shows up to lead than you. I mean, look at you today. You're in an awesome costume, part in the festivities with your team. I'm jealous, to be honest. But to have you in a role where you're creating something for all of us women, to be a part of something so special is just fantastic. I really hope you know how amazing you are, not just to, all of us in this industry, but just everywhere. Having people like you, it inspires us to all want to do more and better. And this platform just gives us those opportunities and the networking to be able to do that. So it's so powerful, and can't thank you enough, Cece.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I consider myself a part of this awesome Village of Women, a team member, if you will. I think that involvement with our various groups, International Code Council, our regional groups, our chapters of ICC, it's so important. Being able to be there as a support any way that you can is so important. And I thank you for your kind words, Rachel. That's really kind. But I'm looking forward to the future of our up and coming professionals in this building industry for sure.
Right.
So Cecilia, one of the things that I loved about the WLCE last year, and I was one of the probably a handful of men that attended, and I wasn't expecting what I was expecting. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a kind of like a woman thing, and very biased. Sorry, I admit it, but actually, it was very, very impactful. And having a conversation with a lot of the women in our industry, you get to realize, what they they feed off each other and they can empower themselves. You had like when we discussed in Arizona, you had people that started new programs, like Jennifer Morris. She started like a task force of marijuana just because she came out of her comfort zone. Rachel, she's coming out of her comfort zone. This is not in her wheelhouse. Even though she's a natural, it's not in her wheelhouse to do this stuff. Minnie Garcia, it's not in her wheelhouse to public speak, and now she's doing it. I mean, these stories that I see, even my friend Lorena, which I'm gonna bring her on as a quick. She's gonna make a quick announcement of something that she did at the at Calvo Education Week. So I'll have her explain, because it's important to know. One of the things that we noticed was, we went to the permit technician classroom, and it was mostly females, and they don't have a lot of leadership within themselves. So we brainstormed, how can we make that industry a little bit better? And then she came up with something, and she'll share it with you in a minute when I bring her on. But, I'm so impressed with the women leaders. What you guys have done and what you guys are continuing to do is just amazing.
No, I appreciate that, Pete, and I think you make some really valid points. I'm eager to hear what Lorena is going to share. But getting back to your point, that is exactly it. That's exactly it. Sometimes we don't have the foundation as to where we're going to start. Right? We don't have that encouragement, that motivation, that inspiration, and it's hard to find because sometimes we self doubt ourselves a lot. And you bring up a good point. Jennifer Morris is a perfect example, as well as Miss Rachel and Minnie Garcia. And there's another inspector out of Oklahoma who is in code enforcement who reached out and said, "Hey, you know what? I've always wanted to learn building inspection, but I didn't know how to approach it, and I didn't know how to get that support. And it wasn't until after I went to the conference that I was able to." Muster up, my braveness and be able to go out and talk to my building official and say, hey, I really want to learn building inspection. Can you help me? Can I get some guidance? And she was able to get that because he was receptive towards that. He said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And that's, I think, the biggest point here is women leaders in code is over encompassing. So we're not just focused on code compliance per se. We're focused on our techs. We're focused on our administrative assistants. We're focused on our plants examiners, our fire prevention, our engineers, anybody that is in this profession that still has a desire not only to grow, to learn, but also to mentor, because I think mentorship is key. It's huge. It's key. And if we can get enough mentors nationwide, how amazing would that be? How impactful would that be to be able to connect our up and coming professionals to those mentors so that they can have somebody that they can call upon and reach out to and say, hey, you know what? I met you here. I really liked what you had to say. Having that relatable content, Pete and Rach, it's so paramount because everyone's story is different. And I always say, don't compare your journey to somebody else's, because what's good for me might not be good for Pete or Rachel. What's good for them might not be good for me. We all work at our own pace. And this is why we need, that mentorship that looks very diversified, because that way we're allowed to be able to expand on, being able to tap into other professionals that are going to assist us for sure.
Right.
Good morning, Ms. Lorena.
So before, for those that don't know Lorena sits on a national CASI board, specifically for accessibility. And Lorena was a permit tech supervisor that actually became CASP certified. For you guys that don't know, CASP is what they consider the bar in the building industry. It's a really hard test on accessibility, and Lorena has become just a force to be reckoned with in that just particular area. But her heart, just like you have code enforcement, also building. She also has the permit tech. So one thing that Lorena did at the Cowell, I'd like her to share what she did. So Lorena, take it away, please.
Okay. Thanks, Pete. Thanks for having me. So this week was Cowboy Ed Week in Ontario, and there was a class for permit technicians that was being taught by Jesse Deanda, who's the building official for the city of Montebello. So I took a few minutes to announce that we would be starting a new ICC chapter here in Southern California for permit technicians. And this came about because our permit technicians don't have a lot of resources, and they are really the face of the building department. And I often say that they hold the keys to the city. And the reason is because they know everything that's coming into the building department, and they know everything that's going out that's being permitted. And oftentimes, the permit technicians are always collaborating with the fire department, engineering department, public works, the planning department, finance department. So they really have to be well-rounded, and they need to have the support amongst their peers and their colleagues. And there's no better way of doing that than networking and having a chapter that can support them, where they can network and they can have specific training to their job duties. But even be on their job duties. So, I was talking to Pete about it, and I was like, there's so much that is beyond the code that is, it can be where we can network and discuss like customer service, how to deal with angry clients or customers, and then how to just go above and beyond, because everything we do is a reflection of the building department, and we're that face of the building department. So I just want to make sure that there's enough resources out there for permit technicians here in the Southern California region. So we're working on that. We're putting together a board, and from the board, we'll put together some committees, and that's about it. So we made that announcement, and anybody that's listening to this and wants to be a part of that in creating this Southern California chapter, please reach out to me. Pete, you can put my information out there so they can reach out to me.
Exciting. Thank you for that, Lorena.
Yeah,
Thank you, Lorena.
Yeah, that's really amazing, Lorena. I think you bring up some really excellent points about permit techs. In fact, Michelle Limbarger, who is a member of the Oregon Permit Tech Association, she also really connects with Washington Permit Techs Association, and then obviously PTN, which is the Permit Tech Nation, which is really awesome. I think exactly what you said, Lorena, is fundamental. I have all of my permit techs who are rocking permit techs. I mean, they really kill it every day. And once upon a time, I was a permit tech very long time ago. So I have a direct care for the permit techs, because you're absolutely right. It's you're front and center. You're taking in the projects. You're issuing those projects. You're assigning and coordinating and interfacing with a variety of different departments. And most of the time, you get the grunt work with dealing with customers that are not so happy, right? And you're the first person they see, so you're the first person that they're laying into, right? Well, why isn't this ready? Blah 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 blah. So it's really important to have those resources. So thank you for putting that together for Southern California. I think that should be something that should be looked at too for Northern California. So anybody watching there, please connect with Miss Lorena, as well as with myself and Lorena. I'd love more information, because whatever we can do to facilitate that, even in the North Bay, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Yeah, oftentimes I always say the permit technicians, when you're working that job, especially if you're working it for a long time, you tend to feel unvalued, especially if you're not supported by your management or your supervisor. And so I think this is going to be a great way for permit techs to find value in their job and know that their efforts are warranted, and supported. If not by their supervisors, at least by their peers and colleagues.
Well, that's excellent. Thank you so much for putting it together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorena, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Thank you. That's really great information. Actually, that is really exciting. I think that also has been a long time coming, even for the state of California, right? To be able to have something together for our permit technicians that are out there just getting it done every single day. Oftentimes they, as well, like Lorena said, there's so much coming through that front desk that, it's easy to miss, because they're always so busy. They're always so busy just keeping us on our toes and making sure that we're operating as successfully as possible.
Right. Well, that's why this platform is so special and unique, because we can all be in our own realms, whether it's code enforcement or permit technician or building inspector, building official. We all have our niches, and we could talk for hours about the things that put a smile on our face with what we do. But having this platform, such as Women Leaders in Code Enforcement, and these different platforms, these different programs that Lorraine is creating and Miss Morris is creating, we all come together at the Women Leaders in Code Enforcement Symposium, and we talk about it. We get to relish in all of our successes together, and that's exciting and important in an industry like this, such as Lorena said. You don't always have that support from a supervisor. So to get that support from, the local or even, not local, as this is, United States wide, but we get support from everywhere. So it's definitely a powerful tool.
This is true. For sure, for sure. And so much so that even going back to Jennifer, for those of you that are looking for somebody who's outstanding in cannabis enforcement, who's outstanding in hemp enforcement and all that good stuff, you're looking for a training that helps you understand it. Jennifer is
Right.
awesome. They have an exemplary program that they run at the County of Riverside. And in fact, I'm actually having her present to our staff here, to my code enforcement staff. So she'll be coming on and doing kind of a two-part presentation for us on, hemp enforcement, cannabis enforcement, how their program operates, what that looks like as far as compliance and all that good stuff. And so I know I'm excited. And that again is one of the benefits of this network, of being able to connect with other professionals that have that skill set or have an amazing program. And we wouldn't know that otherwise, right? Unless we're connecting with them through either this platform or the Women Leaders platform. So
Right.
it's really, really awesome to have that available for sure.
I can't wait to see what everyone keeps doing. You and Pete and Lorena and everybody else is putting together some awesome content for all of us here.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But likewise, you too, Miss Rach. So don't leave yourself out of that, because there's definitely more to come from you.
That goes back to me saying, we all have our own niches and what we're excited about. And we look at the leadership portion. I'm not a leader. I'm just the nerd that loves code. I love talking about code. I love dreaming about code, telling the world why code is important. But then you get these opportunities like this where you kind of have to get out of your shell and put yourself in a different position. And I wouldn't be here without you and without Pete. So these platforms, I can't speak to how important it is for people like myself to have these platforms available, because you can be a superstar in your own jurisdiction and a code nerd all your life. But you're not necessarily going to get any further with it unless you step outside that box and become part of something like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I'll even go as far as saying, going back to ICC really being a good supporter of up and coming professionals, the Emerging Leader Membership Council, or the ELMC, great, awesome professionals that sit on that council, and it's just really awesome to see them. It's really awesome to see them interact and really plan for the future. And I consider myself lucky. And Rachel, I know you had an opportunity to meet most of the members at the ABM this year, but they really inspire each other and they really root for each other. And I think that that's what I really appreciate about it, because everyone's there for the common good of everyone and their growth, and being able to provide that encouragement. And obviously Benjamin Bredmore, who now has a seat with the ICC Board of Directors, is also an ELMC alumni, if you will. And so it's really good to see how that support works there. Being able to be a part of that and really listen into what they have to offer is cool. It's neat. I know, going back to ABM, Rachel, and you and I can talk a little bit about the Board Shadow program. When I went through the Board Shadow program, I wasn't really sure what it was or what to expect. And boy, when I was there, I was so just incredibly amazed by it. I thought it was awesome. I've always been a member of ICC for a very long time, but you don't really know the magnitude of what ICC is really offering until you're there, right? Everything that they're working on, not just code books, not just, but trainings, but really nationally, right? Internationally, really getting out there, really making sure that we're providing support to other countries for resiliency, and being innovative. And not only that, but really looking at that succession planning for the future of future code professionals. It was just really remarkable for me to see. And I think for me, that was my motivator, because I also knew that I needed to put together something, and I wanted to put together this woman symposium, but I I kept teeter-tottering with it. Well, how am I going to do this? How is this going to look? It's just me. How am I going to stand this up? Who do I need to pull in to assist me? And when I went to ABM in 2019 under their board shadow program, that's all I needed. I remember, watching Shirley and watching Cindy Davis and watching Angie and Hope Medina and, all the other wonderful women that are a part of ICC, and just seeing everything that they were involved in, as well as the ELMC. And that was what I needed, because that was what solidified. Okay, you know what? I had one building inspector mentor a very, very long time ago when I started out, when I was in my 20s. I think I just dated myself. And and he said to me, you know what, Cece, if you're talking about it, you're not doing it. Stop talking about it and start doing something about it. And so it brought me back to that, that reminder, you know what, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. We're going to get it done. We were going to do it 2020. And then obviously with COVID, we couldn't do it. And so 2021 was the next best thing. And we did it through a virtual platform, and it was outstanding. I mean, my heart was so full, and I got to meet you, and I got to meet a lot of awesome women, nationwide. So it just goes to show the power of networking and really surrounding yourself with village of, professionals and professionals that become friends that really help motivate.
Right. Well, I don't know about you, Cece, but when we first started the Board Shadow program, I don't know, a couple months into getting all the information and starting to get the documents from ICC, they send you this link for a group chat. So like a group text message. And I have to say, even to this day, there's still, messages that go around from our group. I don't know if that's the same with yours, but it's just super powerful. You made a very good point of wanting to just dive right in. And I can say from personal experience, I walked into, we'll say, give an example of the code hearings. I think that was my most exciting part of the entire experience, because you walk into a room with, 2,000, maybe a few more, give or take, people. And you sit down and you think, okay, how could I even possibly make a difference? I was given a piece of paper and half of a speech, and I was told, okay, you're going up to testify on this particular code. What? I'm going up to testify in front of 2,000 people on a code I know nothing about? But it was so incredibly powerful. It was exciting to get up there and get in front of all of these people. And, regardless of if I was reading something or, off the cuff, you're still changing the world. You're putting something into the world that creates an impact. And I don't know about you, Cece, but I walked around with the biggest cheeseball grin the entire time, because having that power and that feeling of, I just did something with a fire code that could potentially prevent someone from being hurt or even killed one day. It's exciting. So yeah, that was among a million other experiences. I think the code hearings were my most favorite of the entire experience.
Yes. And I'm so happy that you got to do that, because it is an experience of a lifetime. And and going back to what you said, that is the other part of ICC that you normally don't hear about, right? Usually you're like, hey, be a member of ICC. When you start work, you need to be a member of ICC, and you need to get your certification and all that good stuff and take the training. But no one really talks about all the other cool stuff that comes with that, right? The code hearings, the councils, the membership councils that you can get involved in. On the flip side of that, Ms. Rach, I was able to I'm part of the Code Action Hearing Committee, and I had a similar experience as you did. I was nervous at first, and I was like, okay, I'm assigned this code sections. I'm going to go through them. IPMC is my jam. I love the IPMC. I mean, I can talk on that code all day long, night and day. I, like you, consider myself a code nerd that way. And of course, the California codes, or the IBC and IRC as well. But the IPMC has always been my baby, because I had an area of focus with code enforcement for a long time. And I always tell people that the IPMC is the code enforcement model code. This is what we should be using, right? So even though I feel very confident with the IPMC and talking code. I got to tell you, when you get to that point where it's your turn and you have to go ahead and give, your review, your summary on, your code sections that were assigned to you, and be able to make a proposal as to whether or not we're going to adopt or not, you get a little nervous, right? Because you're like, ooh, it's not just me, it's me, and then it's everyone else,
Right.
thousands of professionals that all have an opinion. But you know what? That is so remarkable, because that is what makes our codes what they are.
Right.
Maybe I experienced something that perhaps you haven't, or you experienced something that perhaps Pete hasn't, and we all have a different perspective, and being able to bring that to the table and be part of that code development is awesome. It's
I
really
agree.
cool. So I'm so happy that you got to do that. In fact, with Rachel and I talked a lot, and this is the beauty of even the leadership component with the Board Shadow program, is really having your Board Shadows connect. And continue on that friendship. As you said, you still have, connects with your fellow Board Shadows, but at the same time, when we talked about the program, I remember saying, take it all in, just enjoy it. And look at everything, go to everything, check it out, ask the questions, do the things, and that way, you really get a perspective for it. Because I think that when you go in there, if you don't do that and really take advantage of it, you miss out.
Oh, absolutely. I would absolutely agree with that. I think that there wasn't enough time in the whole world to have. I would have loved to have stayed there the entire code hearings, but
Yeah.
there's certainly things we have to do, jobs we have to get back to. But
Right.
no, absolutely, just everything about the program opens your eyes to, like you said, Cece, what ICC is about. And it's not just about creating boring old code books that some people use as paperweights on their desk nowadays. It's about creating awareness about something that affects all of us. And like you said, the programs, the trainings, the networking opportunities, because ICC comes into the local chapters, obviously. And with that, you have local trainings, local opportunities to network. So, ICC is such a amazing resource to be a part of. It's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And even going back to the opportunity that Lorena is putting together for the Permatex, that again, an extension of what could be done in support of, the Permatex, but also being supported by the International Code Council for sure. So it's really awesome what you can do. Sky's the limit, right?
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. And funny that you say permit techs, because I think there were more permit techs in the Board Shadow program than there were like building inspectors or, the code side. So it was really exciting to see, because, you start out as a grunt, so what a permit tech, everybody knows, what it is that we all do, just a little bit, right? But when you get to come to experience something like that, and they tell you their stories and you get to tell them your stories, it's so much fun. You're thinking,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I could do that job. No, I could never do that job, type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yes. And you know what? That brings me to a really good point. So I've actually had the opportunity to interview a couple of permit technicians from different cities here in the state of California. And I have a couple more set up for other states here in the U.S. And they're going to be sharing their story regarding how they got to be where they're at today, as far as being a permit tech and diving into the world of code and building and all that good stuff. And I'm so excited to showcase them. They're actually going to be attending the Women Leaders in Code Enforcement Symposium. And this is a video series that we put together for WLCE. Going back to that, because it's so important to be able to showcase everybody that plays a vital role in the building industry. So I'm excited, and hopefully you guys enjoy those interviews. They are going to be shot out this next week. So it'll be really cool to get to know them a little bit more and hear about their journey. And it's exciting because when you come in as a permit tech, again, you don't always know all the background of construction. You're coming in and you're being taught most of the time. This is what you do, unless you came up from an administrative role already.
Right.
So it'll be really neat to see the perspective of these awesome women.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. That was an exciting opportunity that I was able to be a part of last year. So, again, goes back to, showing up to lead, Cece. You are absolutely showing up to lead. So very excited. What else can you tell us about the upcoming symposium? What else do we need to know?
Oh my goodness, yes. Well, it'll be in Santa Rosa, but we have a mixture of the leadership training as well as the technical training. There's going to be an opportunity to be able to network. So we'll have a couple of just kind of networking sessions. So I don't want to call them necessarily breakout sessions. I want everybody to really get into the mode and come out of their comfort zone and really just have that moment to say, hey, I want to get to know you. And the overall goal is going to be to leave the conference with at least anywhere between 5 to 10 names and numbers or emails of other women that we've met, that you can say, hey, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna connect with you, we're gonna connect, we'll be there to be our lifeline for each other, our encouragement. If I have questions, maybe you can guide me, vice versa. But I really want women to really leave, not just with, hey, I came to a symposium and I took some classes. I want them to really leave with, a network of other women, their numbers, friendships, if you will. And I think that that is the part that I'm really, really looking forward to the most, is being able to give them something tangible that they can now have and say, okay, now I know who I can reach out to should I have a question.
I love it. So show us these awesome pens. I didn't get to see these pens the other day.
Oh, you didn't? Let me see if I have them with me. Give me one second.
I was being told that there was awesome swag that we were going to get to see. So that I have to see.
There is. Let me see if I even brought them with me. They may be in my travel bag, but
I was so bummed that I couldn't join you folks in Arizona. So
oh, no worries. You know what? I do have them in my travel bag, but I have plenty of them for you. I have plenty of them for you. So we have these WLCE pens that we got. We actually have some sunglasses as well. A WLCE actually contributed a good amount of sunglasses for the Permit Tech Nation group and Permit Techs across the board that we're doing the Habitat for Humanity build in Pittsburgh. So that was something that was really rewarding for us to be able to contribute that to the women. I actually was very much looking forward to being a part of that, but unfortunately couldn't make it to ABM, which is fine, but it just felt really good to give back. And there's going to be other swag, so opportunities for that. We're going to have really awesome vendors there as well that we can get to enjoy and meet and get some info on. And we are going to have Ms. Valerie Troche to come in and talk a little bit about the legalities surrounding code as well as leadership. So it'll be really cool.
Very exciting. We're excited, right, Pete?
Yes, and sorry I had to bounce out a little bit. Work happens sometimes while we're doing these things. So I'm happy to be back, and I've been listening, and I love everything that I'm hearing. So I'll be sending some folks over there ourselves. And Four Leaf is actually a sponsor of the WLCE. We really support the diversity that you guys are creating. It's just excellent stuff. I love it. It's more of a WLCE, not a WLCE and Pete kind of thing. So I kind of just like.
That's awesome. We're excited to have you, Pete, as always.
But I'm enjoying the conversation. It's a great conversation. I love it.
Thanks for coming on with us today too, Cece. I know it's like we always talk about, we pivot. So all of us had a little technical difficulty this morning, and you graced us with your presence. So thank you. Yeah,
no problem. Not at all. And I like I said, I didn't know I was dressing up for today. So I'm gonna dress up for today. And again, have a little fun, enjoy your day, be able to look at life on a lighter side, getting back to leadership. Leadership is a variety of different things. but it's not an Oscar the Grouch, right? be able to come in and shed a little light, a little smile, a little encouragement to your staff. And so whatever I can do to help you guys, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Cece. Thanks
Yeah,
for
no
joining us for another episode of Code Concepts with Pete and Rachel and Miss Cece today. We got to talk a little bit about Women Leaders in Code Enforcement Symposium coming up this March. So thank you for all of that information, Cece, and we can't wait to see you there.
Absolutely. And Miss Marla, I can't wait to meet you as well, hopefully in person.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Have a beautiful Friday.